10 steps every night? When you first hear about the Korean 10-step skincare routine, it sounds less like self-care and more like a part-time job. But here's what nobody tells you. It's not actually about doing all 10 steps every single day. It's a framework, a way of understanding how products work together based on molecular size, texture, and skin chemistry. I'm Sarah Ling-Miller, and I've spent the last few years figuring out what this routine really means for people who are wiping yogurt off the counter at 10 p.m., not filming content under ring lights. You're listening to Luxury Beauty on a Budget podcast. Quick note before we dive in. Everything you're about to hear, all the research, the data, the ingredient percentages, that's written and verified by real humans, real authors who actually test this stuff. The voice you're hearing right now, that's AI generated. Just want to be transparent about that up front. Anyway, if you've been listening for a while, thank you, really. And if you're new here, glad you found us. We drop new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, covering beauty topics that actually matter, without the luxury price tags or the nonsense. All right, let's get into what we're talking about today. Let's be real. When you first hear about the Korean 10-step skincare routine, it sounds like a second job. 10 steps every night? Who has that kind of time when you're wiping dried yogurt off the kitchen counter at 10 p.m.? Here's the deal. Understanding what Korean 10-step skincare actually isn't about following all 10 steps religiously every single day. It's about knowing which layers matter for your skin concerns and building a strategic routine that fits between the morning chaos and the evening collapse. I'm going to break down each step with actual ingredient percentages, texture descriptions, and the reality of what you can skip when you're running on 5 hours of sleep. So what is the Korean 10-step skincare routine? It's a layering methodology that originated in Korea, where skincare is approached as preventative maintenance rather than corrective treatment. Each step serves a specific function based on molecular size and skin penetration depth. Smaller molecules first, occlusives last. The full lineup includes oil cleanser, water-based cleanser, exfoliator, toner, essence or ampule, sheet mask, eye cream, moisturizer, and SPF during the day, or a sleeping pack at night. That's the textbook answer. The practical answer? What Korean 10-step skincare looks like in real life is a framework for understanding product order and layering chemistry. You don't use all 10 steps every day, unless you're a beauty influencer with ring lights and a stipend from a luxury brand. Most busy professionals use 4 to 6 steps daily and expand to 8 or 10 for weekend self-care sessions. The brilliance here is ingredient layering based on molecular weight. Water-based products penetrate first, think hyaluronic acid molecules at 5,000 to 20,000 Daltons. Then come lipid-soluble actives like retinol and peptides. Finally, you apply occlusive barriers like ceramides and squalene. This isn't mystical, it's basic dermatological chemistry about transepidermal absorption rates. The Korean beauty industry also prioritizes gentle, cumulative improvement over aggressive transformation. You'll see 2% niacinamide in a toner, 5% in an essence, maybe another 2% in a moisturizer. That stacks to therapeutic levels, typically 5 to 10% total, without the irritation risk of a single 10% product. If you're wondering how this fits into modern barrier-first beauty principles, it's actually complementary. The Korean approach inherently supports barrier integrity through hydration layering and occlusive sealing, which aligns with current dermatological understanding of stratum corneum function. Now, let's talk about how the Korean 10-step skincare routine actually works. Each layer serves a specific function based on product viscosity, pH level, and molecular penetration depth. Here's how the chemistry works when you layer correctly. Step 1 is the oil cleanser, your first cleanse. Its function is removing oil-based debris, makeup, sebum, SPF filters, especially newer organic UV filters like Uvanil A+, that bind to skin oils. Typical actives include mineral oil, caprylic and capric triglycerides, and PEG-20 glyceryl triisosterate, which is an emulsifying agent. The texture is a viscous oil that emulsifies to a milky consistency when you add water. This works through lipophilic dissolution. Oil dissolves oil. SPF filters, especially chemical ones like avobenzone and octinoxate, are lipid-soluble and don't fully remove with water-based cleansers alone. Oil cleansers typically contain 60 to 80% mineral oil or plant oils with 10 to 20% emulsifiers to rinse clean without residue. I use this every night, even when I'm half asleep. Takes 45 seconds. Budget option, the Face Shop Rice Water Bright Cleansing Oil uses rice bran oil and performs identically to $45 luxury versions. Check the link below to see the current price. Step 2 is the water-based cleanser, your second cleanse. Its function is removing water-based impurities, sweat, environmental pollution particles. Typical actives include sodium cocoyl isothianate, a gentle surfactant, glycerin at 3 to 5%, and pH buffers to maintain a 5.0 to 6.0 range. The texture is gel or foam with a neutral to low pH. Korean cleansers typically maintain physiological pH 4.5 to 6.0 instead of the harsh alkaline formulas pH 8 to 10 common in Western drugstore brands. This prevents disruption of your acid mantle, the slightly acidic surface layer that protects against bacterial overgrowth and moisture loss. The double cleanse controversy is overblown. If you wear SPF daily, which you should, you need step 1 at night. If you just have morning face oil, step 2 alone is fine. Step 3 is the exfoliator, used 2 to 3 times weekly. Its function is chemical or physical removal of dead corneocytes, skin cells, to improve penetration of subsequent products. Typical actives include BHA, that's salicylic acid, at 0.5 to 2%, AHA, like glycolic acid, at 5 to 10%, or lactic acid at 5 to 12%, and PHA, gluconolactone, at 4 to 8%. Texture is liquid, gel, or a low-grit physical scrub. I'm going to be honest, this is the step most professionals can strategically skip on busy weeks. Exfoliation increases penetration of actives in later steps by 20 to 40%. But if you're already using a retinoid serum, which provides chemical exfoliation as a secondary benefit, adding a dedicated exfoliator becomes redundant. For budget chemical exfoliants, COSRX BHA Blackhead Cower Liquid uses betaine salicylate at 4%, which functions like 2% salicylic acid. Check the link below to see the current price. The Korean skincare ingredients focus on gentler derivative forms that deliver results without the redness you'd get from Western formulations. Step 4 is toner. Its function is pH rebalancing, first layer of hydration, penetration enhancement for subsequent serums. Typical actives include hyaluronic acid at 0.1 to 2%, typically 50,000 to 100,000 Daltons for surface hydration, glycerin at 5 to 10%, niacinamide at 2 to 4%. Texture is watery liquid or slightly viscous essence toner. Korean toners are fundamentally different from Western astringents. No alcohol, no witch hazel designed to strip your face. These are hydrating prep layers with a pH around 5.5 that prime your skin barrier for active absorption. The molecular chemistry here matters. Hyaluronic acid at different molecular weights serves different functions. High molecular weight, over 1 million Daltons, sits on the surface, creating a hydrating film. Mid-weight, 50,000 to 100,000 Daltons, penetrates the outer epidermis. Low weight, 5,000 to 20,000 Daltons, reaches deeper layers, but can potentially cause inflammatory response in sensitive skin. Budget winner, I'm From Rice Toner has niacinamide at 2% and rice extract at 77.78%. Check the link below to see the current price. I've used this for 3 years straight. One bottle lasts exactly 11 weeks with twice daily application. That's 23 cents per day. Step 5 is essence. Its function is concentrated hydration and treatment layer, typically featuring fermented ingredients or skin-repairing actives. Typical actives include galactomyces ferment filtrate at 50 to 90%, bifida ferment lysate at 30 to 50%, niacinamide at 3 to 5%, adenosine at 0.04%, which is a collagen synthesis promoter. Texture is thin, serum-like viscosity. Essences are what Korean 10-step skincare is really about. This is the innovation that defines K-beauty. Fermented ingredients like galactomyces, bifida, lactobacillus produce smaller peptide chains and amino acids that penetrate more effectively than non-fermented versions. They also generate natural niacinamide and ceramide precursors during fermentation. COSRX Advanced Snail 96 Mucin Power Essence is the category benchmark, 96.3% snail secretion filtrate. Yes, really. It contains natural allantoin, glycolic acid, and elastin. Check the link below to see the current price. One pump morning and night equals 6 months per bottle. Compare that to Estee Lauder Advanced Night Repair using bifida ferment. Similar mechanism, 5 times the price. If you're interested in bioregenerative skincare approaches that focus on cell renewal, essences represent the Korean equivalent using fermented actives instead of synthetic growth factors. Step 6 is serum or ampule, your treatment step. Its function is targeted high-concentration actives for specific concerns. Typical actives include vitamin C, L-ascorbic acid at 10 to 20%, or stable derivatives at 5 to 15%, retinol at 0.25 to 1.0%, peptides like matrix cell 3000 at 3 to 8%, or arginine at 5 to 10%, Centella asiatica extract at 40 to 80%. Texture is gel or lightweight serum. This is your heavy hitter. 1 serum per concern is the rule. Don't layer 3 treatment serums unless you enjoy irritation. Morning, antioxidants like vitamin C. Night, cell renewal like retinol or peptides. The Korean approach stacks multiple supporting actives around one hero ingredient. A vitamin C serum might also contain 2% niacinamide, 1% hyaluronic acid, and 5% ferulic acid, each enhancing stability or penetration of the primary active. By some Mi Yuja Niacin 30 Days Miracle Brightening Sleeping Mask, technically used in Step 10 but functions as a serum, has 5% niacinamide, 2% tranexamic acid, 70% yuzu extract. Check the link below to see the current price. I use this 3 times weekly for post-pregnancy melasma, noticeable reduction in hyperpigmentation after 4 weeks, measured by my dermatologist's Visiascan, showing 22% improvement in UV spots. For comparison with other cell renewal approaches, you can check out bioregenerative peptides versus retinol to understand how these different actives trigger skin regeneration through varying mechanisms. Step 7 is sheet mask, used 1 to 3 times weekly. Its function is occlusive hydration delivery system, temporary barrier that forces ingredient penetration. Typical actives vary by mask: niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, propolis, ceramides at 2 to 5% concentrations. Texture is fiber sheet, cotton, hydrogel, or bamboo, saturated with essence. Sheet masks work through occlusive penetration enhancement. The physical barrier prevents transepidermal water loss, creating temporary hydration that plumps fine lines and increases active absorption by up to 3 times compared to the same serum applied without occlusion. But let's be real, this step is optional luxury. The same serum used under your regular moisturizer achieves 70 to 80% of the same result. I use sheet masks on Sunday nights while answering emails because I can type with my face covered in snail mucin. That's peak efficiency. Budget packs. MediHeal in targeted formulas. Check the link below to see the current price. The Tea Tree Care Mask, 0.5% tea tree oil, 3% niacinamide, actually cleared a stress breakout faster than a $75 dermatologist-prescribed benzoyl peroxide gel. Sample size: 1 very stressed attorney during trial prep, but I'll take that data point. Step 8 is eye cream. Its function is targeted treatment for the periorbital area with modified formulation for thin, oil gland-deficient skin. Typical actives include caffeine at 2 to 5%, reduces fluid accumulation, peptides like palmitoyl tripeptide 1 at 2 to 3%, ceramides at 0.5 to 2%, niacinamide at 2 to 3%, lower than face products. Texture is lightweight cream or gel cream, depending on skin type. Eye creams are controversial. Dermatologists argue the skin is skin. Use your face serum. Korean formulations counter that the periorbital epidermis is 0.05 millimeters thick versus 0.12 millimeters on cheeks, with almost no sebaceous glands, requiring adjusted formulation viscosity and active concentrations. My compromise: I use eye cream only at night, only when I remember, which is maybe 4 times weekly. Innis-free Jeju Orchid Eye Cream. Orchid extract, peptides, adenosine at 0.04%. Check the link below to see the current price. One tube lasts 6 months. Worth it for the caffeine that actually reduces my 5:45 a.m. wake-up call puffiness. Step 9 is moisturizer. Its function is occlusive barrier to seal previous layers, provide lipids for barrier repair. Typical actives include ceramide complex, ceramide 1, 3, 6, 2 at 0.5 to 3% total, cholesterol at 1 to 2%, fatty acids at 2 to 5%, squalene or dimethicone at 3 to 10%. Texture is gel cream, cream, or sleeping pack depending on skin type. Korean moisturizers follow the 3 to 1 to 1 ceramide to cholesterol to fatty acid ratio proven in barrier repair research. This mimics the natural lipid composition of healthy stratum corneum. For oily skin, gel creams with dimethicone, occlusive without heaviness. For dry skin, traditional creams with shea butter and ceramides. The best Korean moisturizers under $25. Comparison breaks down these formulation differences by skin type with specific ingredient percentages. COSRX Oil-Free Ultra Moisturizing Lotion. Birch sap 70%, niacinamide 2%. Check the link below to see the current price. My Daily Driver absorbs in 30 seconds, no pilling under makeup. I can apply this in the car at a stoplight if needed, which has definitely never happened, officer. Step 10 is SPF in the morning or sleeping pack at night. Morning function: UV protection, SPF 30 to 50, PA4+. Typical filters include chemical options like octinoxate at 7.5%, avobenzone at 3%, Uvenyl E+ at 4%. Physical options like zinc oxide at 10 to 25%, titanium dioxide at 5 to 10%. Hybrid formulas combine these at lower percentages. Night function: heavy occlusive sealing layer. Typical actives include ceramides, squalene, shea butter at 10 to 30% concentrations. Korean sunscreens are legitimately superior to American formulations. The FDA hasn't approved new UV filters since 1999. Korea and the EU use next-generation filters like Tinosorb S and Uvenyl A+, with better UVA protection and more elegant textures. Beauty of Joseon Relief Sun SPF 50+, PA4+, rice extract 30%, grain fermented extracts, no white cast, feels like a moisturizer. Check the link below to see the current price. I've used this daily for 2 years, cheaper than my previous Supergoop Unseen sunscreen, and performs identically under makeup. For comprehensive SPF recommendations, see the top 12 Korean sunscreens under $20 with detailed filter breakdowns and texture comparisons. Moving on to why the Korean 10-step routine actually matters. What Korean 10-step skincare is teaching you isn't really about the number of products. It's about understanding layering chemistry and strategic product selection. The methodology forces you to think about skin penetration physics, aqueous solutions before lipid solutions, low molecular weight before high, acidic actives before pH-neutral hydrators. This isn't arbitrary ritual. It's applied cosmetic chemistry that increases active bioavailability by 30 to 50% compared to random application order. The cost per use economics are also surprisingly favorable. My full Korean routine, including expensive steps like essence and serum, runs about 97 cents per day for 8 products. My previous simplified Western routine with 4 products cost $1.23 per day. More steps, less money, because Korean products are formulated for layering with lower concentrations per item and larger package sizes. You're also learning to identify ingredient redundancy. If your toner has 2% niacinamide, your essence has 3%, and your moisturizer has 2%, you don't need a separate niacinamide serum. You're already at 7% total. Therapeutic range achieved. This prevents both wasted money and ingredient overload irritation. For busy professionals, this framework lets you strategically abbreviate. Rushed morning, skip the oil cleanse. Single cleanse, toner, moisturizer, SPF equals 5 steps, 3 minutes. Weekend self-care, full 10 steps equals 15 minutes, feels like a spa treatment that cost $8 in products. The mental shift matters too. Skincare as preventative maintenance instead of corrective crisis management means you're investing 10 minutes daily to avoid spending $300 on emergency facials when your skin revolts before a major presentation. Ask me how I know. Now, let's talk about types and variations of the Korean skincare approach. What Korean 10-step skincare has become has evolved into multiple variations since the routine gained international recognition around 2015. Here's what you'll actually encounter. The minimalist 5-step, which is my weekday reality. Oil cleanse, water cleanse, essence, moisturizer, SPF in the morning, or sleeping pack at night. This maintains the core penetration hierarchy while eliminating optional steps. You lose the targeted treatment serum, which means slower progress on specific concerns, but zero risk of oversleeping because you are padding in 7 layers of hydration at midnight. The glass skin variation focuses on maximum hydration layering, toner, essence, hydrating serum, sheet mask, gel moisturizer. Multiple layers of hyaluronic acid at different molecular weights, high-weight surface film plus mid-weight penetrating hydration plus occlusive sealing creates that glossy, poreless appearance Korean beauty is famous for. Fair warning, this look lasts about 4 hours in California humidity before you're back to normal human skin. The barrier repair focus emphasizes ceramide layering instead of hydration. pH balance cleanse, ceramide toner, ceramide essence, ceramide cream. Particularly relevant if you've wrecked your moisture barrier with aggressive retinoids or chemical peels. Hello, post-pregnancy recovery attempting to fix melasma. This approach aligns with barrier-first skincare principles that prioritize structural lipid restoration before introducing treatment actives. The ingredient cycling method alternates active categories by day to prevent sensitization. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, exfoliation plus vitamin C. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, retinol plus peptides. Sunday, pure hydration recovery. This maximizes the benefits of potentially irritating actives while minimizing cumulative inflammation. For detailed compatibility rules, see how to layer Korean skincare products with pH-based sequencing charts. Let me answer some frequently asked questions. Do you actually need all 10 steps in the Korean skincare routine every day? No, you don't need all 10 steps daily. The Korean 10-step routine is a framework showing the maximum number of product categories, not a mandatory prescription. Most people use 4 to 6 steps daily: cleanse, toner, treatment serum, moisturizer, SPF. They expand to 8 or 10 steps for weekly intensive treatments or when they have extra time on weekends. What order should you apply Korean skincare products from maximum effectiveness? Apply Korean skincare products from thinnest to thickest consistency and lowest to highest molecular weight. Oil cleanser, water cleanser, exfoliator, toner at pH 5 to 6, essence, serum, sheet mask, eye cream, moisturizer, then SPF or sleeping pack. Allow 30 to 60 seconds between water-based layers for absorption before applying the next product. How much does a complete Korean skincare routine cost on a budget? A complete budget Korean skincare routine costs around $95 to $145 for all 10 product categories, with quality formulations from brands like Sorex, Innisfree, and Beauty of Joshin. That translates to approximately 85 cents to $1.25 per day, since most products last 3 to 6 months. Compare that to $300 to $600 for equivalent Western prestige brands with similar active ingredient concentrations. What's the difference between Korean essence and serum? Korean essences are lightweight hydrating layers with 50 to 90% fermented ingredient filtrates like galactomyces or snail mucin, plus supporting actives at 2 to 5% concentrations applied after toner to prep skin. Serums contain higher concentrations of targeted treatment actives like 10 to 20% vitamin C or 0.5 to 1% retinol and are applied after essence to address specific concerns like hyperpigmentation or fine lines. Can you combine Korean skincare with Western actives like retinol? Yes, you can absolutely combine Korean skincare with Western actives like retinol by using Korean products for hydration and barrier support layers, toner, essence, moisturizer, while incorporating Western treatment serums with retinol, vitamin C, or chemical exfoliants in the serum step. This actually reduces irritation compared to using Western actives alone without proper hydration layering. So what's your realistic Korean skincare strategy? What Korean 10-step skincare ultimately teaches you is product literacy. You're learning to read ingredient lists, understand molecular weight hierarchy, calculate cost per use, and identify when marketing is selling you duplicate actives in prettier packaging. Start with the absolute essentials: second cleanser, hydrating toner, moisturizer, SPF. That's 4 steps, around $45 to $60 total, lasts 4 months. Add an essence when you're comfortable with the routine. COSRX snail mucin is a solid choice. Introduce a treatment serum when you've identified your primary concern: vitamin C for brightness, retinol for aging, niacinamide for overall improvement. You'll notice changes around week 3 to 4 if you're consistent, not dramatic transformation. Korean skincare is cumulative improvement, not magic, but your skin texture smooths out. Makeup application gets easier because you're working with properly hydrated skin instead of flaky patches you're trying to cover. Those stress breakouts calm down faster. The goal isn't perfect execution of all 10 steps. It's understanding enough cosmetic chemistry to make strategic decisions at 11 p.m. when you're exhausted. Which 3 steps actually matter tonight? What can I skip without derailing progress? That's what the Korean skincare routine really gave me after pregnancy wrecked my skin. Not a spa ritual I had to perform perfectly, but a flexible framework I could adapt when my daughter was teething and I was running on 4 hours of sleep. Some nights I managed 8 steps. Some nights I used my cellar water and passed out. Both are fine if you understand which nights matter more. Build your routine based on your actual life, not aspirational Instagram content filmed at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday by someone with ring lights and a skincare sponsor. The Korean skincare routine checklist breaks down essential products by skin type if you want structured guidance for getting started without overwhelming yourself. Your skin doesn't care about perfection. It responds to consistency, proper ingredient layering, and not being stripped raw by harsh products. That's what Korean skincare taught Western beauty culture, and that's worth way more than any sheet mask selfie. That's it for this episode of Luxury Beauty on a Budget podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll be back with a new episode on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Same deal, different topic. If you found this useful, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a 5-star rating and write a quick review. It actually makes a difference because it helps other people find the show when they're searching for real beauty information instead of just ads disguised as content. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe or follow so you get notified the second a new episode drops. See you in the next one.